Hi, I'm Liz Cully, and welcome back to Cool, Cool, Cool. Each week, I give you a glimpse into what I think is cool and chat with a ton of people that are definitely cool. No topic is off bounds unless I guess it's not cool. Welcome to Cool, Cool, Cool. When I first moved to Los Angeles a bajillion years ago, I thought that I was in love. I was in love. I shouldn't say I thought I was in love. I was in love. I was in lust. I was in love with the first girl I ever really dated, who pretty instantly broke and destroyed my heart. She was very hard to get a hold of. She wouldn't really return my calls. I was devastated. I will never tell you what her name is, but she definitely works in the industry. And you know what? Here and there, I fantasize about running into her, which I like. There's no way. I never will. If I haven't at this point, I do not foresee it happening. But whatever. But if I had that like cinematic, run-in, I think it depends on the day, but generally my dream is that I basically shame her for treating me like shit and make her feel bad, like a montage, and she thinks all about all the things that could have been if she had been nice to me and all of these other things. I mean, lucky for me, she was a piece of shit to me because I have the most beautiful, lovely wife of all time. But anyway, what I did in that time of trying to get over her is I would go like on all of these dates with luckily all these lesbians that I don't really run into very often. A couple of them I do, but most of them moved away. But anyway, I would love to go to comedy shows. And there was always this queer comedy show, Gays R Us, at the Improv. And it's where I met Fortune Feimster, who I adore. I met Paige Hurwitz, who is a fucking G. Who else did I meet? Aaron Foley and Bigelow, who is my guest today, who is super fucking funny and amazing. And I learned all of these crazy things about her in today's episode. But I really view this group of queer female identifying comedians as like the mob. They are like the funniest crew of women, super accomplished in all that they do, very smart, but like for me looking in, they really seemed like such good friends and such a supportive group of actors, comedians, writers, producers, directors, etc. And I always thought that was so interesting because, you hear about actors or comedians being competitive with each other. Maybe that's just the kind of wrong way of looking at it. I don't know. I mean, right? Like, I feel like everyone's like trying to get the right time up on stage, but not this crew. This crew was incredible. They were supportive. They were funny. And I really wanted to be one of their friends. I would say I'm like a peripheral friend, maybe an acquaintance. I don't know. But I was thrilled. The Gloria, who I interchanged Glo and Gloria, I believe she goes by both. I should have asked her that. Accepted my request of being on Cool, Cool, Cool because she's a perfect example of someone that is so industry, but so kind and smart. And honestly, I think has an incredible amount of knowledge. And also the tea that you're about to get on this episode is insane. So without further ado, I just want you to know, when I told my wife that I was recording with you today, she's like, oh my God, she's so funny. She was like, I have this like she goes, I don't know if I've made this up in my mind about Glo. And I was like, okay, let's hear it. She's like, isn't she a very good singer? And I was like, I don't know. Is she a good singer? I'm like, maybe. She's like, I have some memory in my mind that we were doing some sort of like karaoke, and Natalie Garcia, who obviously is our mutual friend, somehow like she could out-sing her. And I'm like, I don't remember anything that you're saying, and I don't remember this at all, but maybe. And I had to ask you, did Rachel make that up?
Like, I can out-sing Natalie.
Oh, I can say it. I can sing Natalie. I'll say it right here, right now. Okay, so this is a real thing that happened.
Yeah.
Oh my God, even better. Rachel doesn't really I have a colorful and not really accurate memory and perception on life, but she keeps me pretty in line. I was like, oh, I don't remember that at all, but I was probably drinking. And where was this? And she said we were at it actually does make sense now, at the Sassafras Saloon.
That sounds, yes.
Is that what happened? That's what she said this morning.
Yep, that's what happened.
I was like, oh my God, wow. Okay. Well, yeah. I think according to Rachel, you sang Natalie, which let me tell you, sorry, Natalie, there's a few of us around here. And then I think about all the times over the last, 12, 13 years, I've just seen you perform so many times and you make me laugh every time.
Thanks.
I mean, are lesbians funny or are you just a funny? Actually, I say that and then I think about you're in the lesbian funny mafia.
I definitely think there's a lesbian funny mafia, and we have little meetings together. Like, we have like 4th of July together.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, we do Passover together. Oh. We do like little random things, usually orchestrated by Paige, telling us what to do. Is the
ringleader of the lesbian funny mob.
It's Paige. It's Paige Hurwitz.
No, it is Paige.
Yeah, it is. She'll be like, come over. Everyone come over right now. And we're going to play, what's that game where you throw the things into I don't know. It's like something like a sand little thing and you throw it into cornhole.
Oh, no. Oh, I was going to say bocce ball, but cornhole works.
Cornhole. Like, Jill's bringing the cornhole. It's a whole thing.
Yeah, you guys are a really intimidating, funny mafia. And for those listening, I'm talking about like Glo, obviously, Paige Hurwitz, Aaron Foley, so many, Cameron Esposito. Oh, Dana.
Inside Dana, outside Dana.
Wait, there's inside Dana? Who's inside Dana? Who's outside Dana?
Outside Dana is Dana Goldberg.
Yes.
Inside Dana is the other Dana.
Don't know the other Dana. I just know Dana Goldberg historically in my life would hit on me at every event that I ever went to. And then during the pandemic,
right.
Yeah, no, right. Every time. And I would be like, oh my God, please continue to hit on me to increase my self-esteem because I hate myself. And then in the pandemic, obviously you knew who lived around where and whatever, because you would go on these like walks to remember outside and cry and think about how we were all going to die. And she lived in my fucking neighborhood.
Yeah. I know where. Mm-hmm.
You know where I used to live.
Yeah.
And I would be
Melrose.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And I'd be like, oh my God. And she has very shiny, smooth calves. Because she wears shorts a lot. You can report this back to her. This is insane.
Shiny, smooth calves.
She does. And she would always be walking in the neighborhood and I'd be like, why isn't she talking to me? She has hit on me at every Gays R Us and fucking every thing I've ever been to. And now she's like not seeing me and it's killing me. But yes, very smooth, shiny calves. And feel free to let her know.
I'm going to refer to her as Miss Shiny Calves.
She does. They like glisten in the light. And I think, again.
To me, that sounds like pale calves. It sounds to me like you're talking about.
No. They're tanned. Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Well, because she wears shorts all the time.
Yeah.
Cargo shorts, camo cargo shorts, smooth tan legs.
Right. All of this sounds accurate to me. Yeah.
When you first came to Los Angeles, were you immediately on the comedy scene?
Yeah, I started stand up in New York, and I thought like I was coming on here because I was going to film this Showtime comedy special, and I thought, okay, like this is when my life is going to change. What I mean? I'm going to film this special and then I'm going to just like casually move into LA, film a special, and my life is going to blow up and it's going to be amazing. So I moved out here. Like I had like, my dog, my beloved dog Niles, and like 3 suitcases, and that was it. No car, no job, no place to live, all that good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And we did the special. It went really well. And then I was like, ooh, I got to get a job. You know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
one Showtime special does not make you successful. So, but I was like right into the lesbian comedy community, you know, and like people like Erin Foley, like I had just been doing stand up for like maybe 2 or 3 years when I met Erin Foley, and I knew of her and I knew how wonderful she was. And I remember going to, I think it was Aqua Girl. It was Aqua Girl. Yes. Cause I made myself sunsick that day. So my first like 45-minute, you know, big set was with Erin Foley. So we were like co-headlining this. Well, she was headlining because she was Erin Foley and I was still new. And I had to do a 45-minute set, which I'd never done before, in front of like Erin Foley, who I'd like, you know, looked up to. I was like, oh my God, she's so funny. I've been, you know, been chasing Erin Foley. And then I was like, I'd been out in the sun all day and got sun poisoning because I was drinking rum and pineapple juice.
No.
From like 11 o'clock.
Like a real pirate.
Like 11 o'clock to 4 p.m. just in the sun, drinking.
Like a pirate.
Mm-hmm. Real
Or
sick.
a mermaid.
Got real sick. Yeah.
Did you throw up or you just felt dizzy?
Afterward. Yes. All of that afterwards. I was just like, I don't know what's wrong with me. And my girlfriend at the time was like, oh my God, your whole back is like blistered. What's going on? I was like, I don't know. I don't know what's happening.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
oh no, she did. At Aqua Girl, no less.
Mm-hmm.
What was the vibe in the Los Angeles lesbian comedy mafia? That's what I'm leaning into that. What was it like? What was it like back then? Is it different?
I think it's different because not that we've grown up, but you know, time has happened. Mm-hmm. And everybody's lives have kind of like, you know, moved in different directions. You know, like before everybody seemed to always be out and staying out. Like, you know, comics always are at night. They're night people.
Yeah.
You know? And
cocaine does that, you know,
cocaine does that. And like, when you're not doing that, like, what are you going to do at 10 o'clock? I need to be, my little alarm goes off on my phone. Like, it's time to wind down. Mm-hmm. It's 10 o'clock. I'm winding down. I've already had my little drinks that help me relax. Mm-hmm. And so I'm not like out in the world, you know, I'm not out in the world being fun.
Glo, I don't know who you're talking to. I'm literally like I beg like a little child to go to sleep. I'm like, I've had 2 to 3 glasses of wine. I want to go to bed right now. And it's like, and then I look and I am expecting for my watch to say like 11:15, but it's 9:15. And I'm like, fucking Christ. Anyway. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I get in my bed and I'm just like giggle and I'm just like happy to get in there. I'm just go to sleep, you know, that's my thing. So yeah, it's changed a little bit as we've gotten like a little older. But yeah, you know, Dana Eagle, that's the other Dana. That's the inside Dana. I was talking about Dana Eagle. You know, she's still like out there doing a lot of stand up, you know, and I'm just like, wow, Eagle, how do you do it, man? I gotta be home.
Cocaine. I'm just kidding. This is all alleged and not real. Because I don't know what people do. But yeah, it's so hard. You know, the thing about, I have so much admiration for comics, like getting up there night after night. The energy exchange alone is so intense. And I think that people don't, if they've never done it before, don't understand how different it is every night by location, by just the pure reality that it's different people and it's whatever. Mm-hmm. The energy exchange is fucking exhausting. And I am not a stand-up comic. I unfortunately did stand-up comedy in front of Paige Hurwitz one time. I wasn't that bad, actually. She ripped it apart, but she gave me some valid notes. It's fine. It was okay, but I don't know how you do it. I mean, it takes years off your life. Also, I think stand-up comedy makes you prepared for so many other things in life.
To me, it like adds years onto my life.
Oh, it does. Yeah. Yes, okay.
Because I don't do cocaine, and it is the closest that I feel like to being high, like the rush from it. Yeah. And where it literally feels like your body is like electric. That's what it feels like. So it just feels like you're just like running on endorphins. And at least for like 2 hours after a show, I'm just like can feel all the vibration. So to me, it's just like, I mean, the nerves before it, yeah, that part is shitty. But once you get your first laugh, you're fine. And then you could just ride that wave.
I mean, you might not remember this from the times that I've seen you, but I'm just going to remind you, I'm a great person in the crowd because I love to laugh. And I recently, I've gone to a few of my friends' shows in the last month, really, actually, and different types of shows. Like one was a live podcasting show, and the crowd, listen, LA crowds are tough, man. Like you would know better than I do, but you don't get a lot. And especially if there's the monsters of them all, celebrities in the crowd, because those motherfuckers are just looking at they're looking at who's looking at them, and they're not really laughing and they're not engaging. But I went to a backyard, actually queer comedy show, which was really fun. My friend Rachel Scanlon, who's hysterical. Do you know Rachel Scanlon?
I don't.
You should. You guys would be...
A backyard stand-up show sounds divine.
Oh, and it was all queer comics. It was amazing.
Divine. Yeah.
And Cameron Esposito came on, who I adore and love. And my wife and I came late, and there were only 2 seats left in the fucking front. And I was like, I don't want to sit in the front. I know half these people, whatever. And it was so funny because it was in a backyard in Hollywood, and the neighbors next door were like, shut the fuck up. You're not funny. And started playing Creed. Like,
no,
yes.
no, not Creed.
And yes. And then played like some sort of, this is white people stuff that I don't really understand. It's like, rah, like that kind of music. And Cameron comes on and starts yelling at them and then looks at me and goes, why is Liz Cully in the front of the house? And I was so embarrassed, but I laughed and I laughed and I laughed, and I love to laugh. And it pains me when I go to comedy shows and people aren't laughing, and because I feel so, well, it's very selfish. I love to laugh. I think laughing till I cry.
That's a good quality. That's a very good quality to have. Loving to laugh. Yeah, that's a great quality.
Don't you love to laugh? It's your whole life.
No, okay. I love it, but I just think it's a good quality for people to have.
Oh, yeah. I would actually say that laughing until you cry, or when you get the giggles and you can't get rid of them, is better than sex.
Yeah.
I said it.
Yep. You're not wrong.
Anyway, it pains me when people don't laugh, because I'm like, dude, what the fuck? These people are making us laugh. Like they're basically having sex with us. Yes, exactly. Do you have like a favorite show that you've done in your mind?
You know, one of my favorite shows was early on. I think it was one of my first Olivia shows. So when Olivia Vacation, you know. Mm-hmm. And it was at a resort somewhere.
Wait, you have to explain really quickly for the listeners what Olivia, I want to hear it from you. Vacation, so Olivia Travel is.
Olivia is like the lesbian spring break on a boat or at a resort, but the spring break is with people over 50.
Hence Olivia. It's not like Julie. It's sophisticated lesbians on vacation.
We're not gonna go as far as to say like sophisticated. we're gonna say it's mature. All kinds of folks, but there are young women that go to Olivia too. But overwhelmingly, it feels like, you know, it's like, you know, people over 50 who can afford to splurge on these like expensive vacations, you know, and it's like all women. And all different kinds of women, and you go and, you know, you do these trips. So one of my first ones, I remember comic Karen Williams was there, and then Michelle, I can't say her last name, but she was on Last Comic Standing. She's like an older, I shouldn't say older.
Mature.
She's mature lesbian comic. And so I did my set, and they gave me a standing ovation.
Yes.
And then she was like, get back out there, kid. Go get your applause. And she pushed me back up. You know, like it was like one of those moments, you know? So that was like a really, like, I remember just that feeling of being like, because it was one of those times where they hadn't really seen me perform. Like, this was my time to show them, like, this is who I am as a comic. And it went really well. One of those things where you got to like show up for yourself and give your very best kind of things. And I just remember her pushing me back out, like, get your applause. You know, like if you knew her, it would make sense. But yeah.
I don't know her, but I want to know her.
Yeah.
And I love her.
Fantastic. She's fantastic.
There's sort of this stereotype about comedians that they are, you know, breaking hearts all over town. They're hanging out at the bar. They've got groupies. What are lesbian groupies like? And have you ever taken advantage of that for yourself?
Definitely have not taken advantage of that.
No, like you've never had like a groupie that you like maybe
that turned into a stalker? Nah, man. That's what happens. Like, mine no,
not a stalker. I'm saying
mine don't stay at groupie. They turn into something a little more dangerous.
Oh, really? Oh,
yeah.
Shit.
Yeah.
You've had a groupie turn into a stalker.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That went somewhere I didn't think it was going to go.
Yeah.
I thought you were just going to be like, yeah, I was on the Olivia cruise and like, damn, it was just like fucking, you know, Isle of Lesbos. It just like
I'm just going to hook up with Pam after Pam. No, I'm not. No, I'm not going to do it.
Well, no, because you'll see them for the rest of your life and they'll all talk about you. Yeah, I know. I think that's people, as much as I think really the cis straight male gaze wants to think that we're all out there just like feeding each other grapes naked. It's like lesbians, we all know too much. I'm like, nah, I'm going to know her for way too long. And it's like
same circles. And
remember Paige's 50th birthday, which was a vibe. Yeah. Which I was like, yo, that actually might be one of the funnest parties I've ever been to.
Such a good time.
And it was at a karaoke bar in Los Angeles that no longer exists.
Yep,
it was like the
Sunset,
Blind
like
Dragon.
Away.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think that was a perfect representation of why you have to be very careful about who you sleep with in Los Angeles, because that was Ghost of Christmas Past fucking central. Yeah, I was like, what? And I went in there and I was like, oh shit, okay, you know. And I think I wasn't quite married yet, but like Rachel was in there off some, you know, Elizabeth Keener, who I can't, hitting on her, then hitting on me. I'm like, fucking Elizabeth Keener, get the fuck out of here. Then it's like, you know, whoever, this person, that person. It was really wild. But the wonderful part about it is like, everybody's chill. Everybody's dated everybody. Everyone's like, oh yeah, you know, and that's what I think really nice about at least the lesbian community that I know here in Los Angeles is everybody's like, you know, at the end of the day, we all have each other's back. I was making sure Dana and her sweet little soft tan legs were safe and fine in that pandemic. I was keeping eyes out, even though she wasn't talking to me.
Just looking for the legs. Just looking for up there. All right, she's out there. Yeah.
Talk to me about low lesbian self-esteem.
Oh, yeah. I suffered. You see, I cut my hair, so now I'm doing a little bit better. But I used to suffer from that a lot because I just felt like I was never acknowledged as a lesbian. And I had to I used to wear a little pin that said like Diesel Dyke. I used to wear this all around New York City because I just wanted people to know that like, that's who I'm a lesbian. Like, you guys, I'm one of you. Because they would just never acknowledge me. And I was just like, this is terrible.
Would it be like you in New York at a lesbian bar just screaming like, so I've eaten pussy before, like, and everyone's ignoring you?
Yeah, I'm not like I was just like, why won't they? And when I finally found this like amazing Brooklyn crew of Black queer folks, and then finally I was like, oh, I don't have to wear this pin anymore. Like I had a seasonal one that said like ho ho homosexual. Like I was like trying the most just to get them to notice me, because I would see them, you know, on the train or whatever, and I'd be like smiling. I'd be like, yeah, I don't know why that lady's looking at us, you know, I don't know.
I really identify with that. I have a hard time. I literally am like, my wife and I live in Glendale, and we are the only lesbians who live in Glendale. Yeah, no, I know. I get it. I think now if you really want to just fuck with your whole emotional vibe, go out now to like a Gen Z. That is like a double fuck because they're young, they're queer. I don't know what anybody, like how old they are. They could be 12 or they could be like 28. I have a lot of piercings, which is like whatever. I'm like a kid of the 90s, like whatever. They don't care. They're like tatted, piercing, or like nothing, and they're straight edge or they're not. And I'm just like, yo, I don't know. I was very edgy at one time in my life, and now I am not.
They're like, edgy.
They're like, why is this like mom from Brentwood on the east side?
Well, I'm like, feel like the lesbian auntie now. I'm definitely.
Well,
like
Glo, welcome.
Territory.
Mal from fucking Queer Ultimatum said that I was the lesbian auntie, and we're the same age. So what does that mean?
So how did you get that? How did you get auntie and you're the same age? You're young.
I know, but you know why? It's because I met Mal before. Did you watch Queer Ultimatum?
Did I?
Okay, so I met them all before the show, and I didn't know what it was. Like classic Liz Cully. I thought Mal was like hollering at Rachel, which was kind of weird because it was like mask for mask. But I was like, okay, whatever, it's cool. And I was at the Netflix Pride party, and I came up, and I was like, oh, are you in a show? I don't know. I'm terrible. For somebody that has interviewed celebrities and lived in Los Angeles, I don't know who is famous. I don't care. I'm like, who's who? I'm more interested in like the writers. And I'm like a nerd. I was the person that read every CD. Like, I wanted to know who played horns.
Yes,
I wanted to know, you know, like
all of it.
I am that girl. Like I geek the fuck out over costume design. Like those are my heroes. So I'm like, whatever. So yeah, we met them all, Glo. And I was like, what are you on? And Mal takes my phone, puts her number in my phone and is like, oh my God, we should hang out. And I said, because I'm the worst, I was like, oh, you should do my podcast. But like, let me watch the show first. And so could you imagine I'm watching this show being like, oh my God. So she called me auntie because I would text her basically in real time my thoughts and feelings. And obviously like that Yoli was a total piece of shit. And I was like, oh my God. And also I will spoiler alert for you. If you listen, Mal came on my podcast as soon as the press embargo from Netflix went up. I was the first interview and she let Yoli keep that ring.
Wow.
And announced that on my show. And let me tell you, I was upset.
Now, on the other end, as someone who has kept rings.
What? How many times have you been engaged?
I've been engaged 3 times.
Word.
Yeah.
Okay. Have you been married before?
No.
So you just get to, I mean, listen, the engaged period is the best time. So you kind of are doing it right, if you ask me.
Just keep getting engaged.
So have you kept all 3 rings?
No. One wasn't worth keeping.
Oh,
so I didn't keep that. And that was from my last boyfriend. And then one I still have from my first engagement with a woman. And then the other one I took back to Tiffany. And which was just like the crazy.
Tiffany. Was that from a man or a woman?
From a woman. Yeah.
Oh, I hope you traded it for something better.
No. I was like, I wanted nothing to do with her anymore. So I was like, this was a lot of money. And I did it right before. There's like a time period where you can return the ring. And it was like 3 days. If I'd waited like 3 days more, then she would not have gotten her full refund on the ring. So
you did the right thing.
I did the right thing. But the other one I kept, and this person's like, we're best friends. Like she's my best friend. We were engaged and, then not. And then moved on with our lives and she got married and all of those things. But yeah, I still kept that. That was a great ring. It was really cute. I liked it.
Hey, I mean, if you liked it, you gotta keep it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think if I've been engaged before, but he stole that ring back. So and he also stole pretty much all my jewelry with it, and then did a really cool thing where I went to Mexico to go visit my family, had an affair with this like super fucking hot dude named Homero, who unfortunately I still run into to this day, which is so awkward. I'll even take it to the next level. He got married at my aunt and uncle's restaurant and then had his first night with his bride in my old like apartment in Mexico.
See, we're
How
all connected.
weird.
We're just all connected.
I still to this day find it so fucking weird. Anyway, and I came home to my apartment in San Francisco, and I had told him this, my ex, I was like, I don't want you there. Like, don't be there when I get back. Cause I couldn't get him out. He wouldn't leave, you know? And I came home and I was like, damn, it smells like bleach. But the whole house was filthy. And this was like in my early 20s before I'd even moved to LA. So we were like, there was like bongs in the house. It like smelled like weed and shit. You know what I mean? I was like, damn, why does it smell like bleach, but it's filthy fucking dirty? And I was like, wow, that's so weird. Tell me why. I go into the bathroom, open up the door, and I'm like, whoa, like it hits me. So much bleach.
What is going on?
All my clothes are in the bathtub. And my purses. And here's the thing, because this was allegedly a lot of drug money. So I had the Louboutins, the Pradas, the fucking Dior's, everything. I was like a Y2K. I basically looked like Nicole Richie. Like I had the juicy velour, the whole thing.
All of it, yes.
Just disintegrated in the tub. All of it. And then he took all my jewelry and that was the end of it. And now he is and I quote, crypto king and lives in Bangkok. Like, I can't even make this up.
Were they a Scorpio?
He was not. He was an Aries.
Oh. Huh.
I don't know. Unfortunately, I love an Aries, but what can I say? Yeah. So anyway, all of these moments really fuel us for fodder in our old age. We might not be at the club anymore, Glo, but we here with the memories.
We got memories.
So you started writing on Bob Hearts Abishola. Am I saying that? Yeah, Abishola. Okay, just making sure. Oh God, I'm like, don't be the white girl that says the lovely, beautiful, sweetie baby angel Nigerian's name wrong on this goddamn podcast. I'm just gonna fucking drown myself over here. 4 years ago? 5 years ago?
Yeah, 2019.
And was that your first like prime time? Because that's Chuck Lorre. I mean, that's a big show. Was that your first writing gig, or had you
believe it?
Yes, I can. I've seen your stand up for the last 12, 13, 14 years. You are very, very funny. So yes, actually, I can imagine it. But was that your first writing gig?
Yeah, that was my first. I mean, I've been like a writer for a long time. I used to do like, you know, blogs on After Ellen and Hour Chart.
Oh my God, wait, I'm so sorry. Cherry Bomb, R.I.P. And,
you know, back in the day, you know what I mean?
Girl.
So I've, you know, been a writer of sorts, but never written for like television or anything like that. And that was like the life-changing job from my fairy god sister, Gina Yashere, who got me that job.
And how did it come? Like, was it through Gina? Like, how did it come together?
Yeah. So I know Gina from stand up, and her girlfriend is my best friend, Nina Rose.
Oh.
And we used to live together in Brooklyn, wreaking havoc. Right.
Love it.
So I met Nina Rose one day. Our girlfriends at the time were playing basketball, and Gina and I were just sitting and talking. And then she had a cold, and I was like, "Well, I'm going to make you some chicken soup." And she was like, "What?" And I was like, "Yeah, you have a cold. I'm going to go home and make you some homemade chicken soup." So I made her a vat of chicken soup, took it over to her in Brooklyn, and we became best friends.
Yeah, I would be your best friend too.
Yeah. So that's how Nina Rose and I became best friends. And then I took Nina as my guest to Mishfest when I was performing at Mishfest, and Gina was also performing there. And so that's where they met. And and then they, you know, became a whole thing. So then when Gina got the opportunity to do this show, she was like very intentional about being like, "Look, I don't want to be like in a room with like old white men all day. Like, we have to have like an inclusive room." And they were like, "Well, send us any, you know, Black writers, anybody you want us to look at." And Nina Rose was like, you got to have Gloria. And Gina was like, "Oh, she's a comic. I don't think she's a writer." Well, I did it like in Gina accent. I don't think she's a writer. You know, Gina's so British. Anyway, so Nina Rose was like, "Trust me on this. I've like read her essays. I've had to like proofread her stuff for years." So I was like, "Let me send you a stand-up clip, because I don't have like a script that I love right now. Let me just send you the clip, send them the clip, and then I'll tighten this little joker up over here." So she sent this guy, Alan Eddy, a stand-up clip from The Laugh Factory where I talk about, I don't know, lesbian camping.
Oh, by the way, I love that clip. I mean, it's very funny.
Thank you. Well, it got me a job.
Oh, I mean, I'm not surprised. Again, you are very funny. I've seen your work, but I was like, this is good. I obviously watched the clips too, but that's a very funny. We'll actually, you know what? We'll link that clip if you're cool with it from your YouTube on this episode, because everybody should watch. There are many, but that one's hella funny. Anyway, continue.
Yeah. So she sent them the clip and they said, oh, let's meet, we'll meet. And we met at like Olive and Thyme. I didn't even know I was on a job interview. I don't know what I thought was happening.
Love Olive and Thyme. What's your order?
I think it's a chicken salad with the tarragon.
Yeah, same, girl.
Right. Yeah. So I met with them and then I went back to my day job at a school where I'd been working at this school for like 9 years. And I was their like diversity equity coordinator for the region and like teaching kids theater and film festivals and all of these things that I was doing. It's like my second day job because I was running an apartment building. It's LA. You know what I mean? It's expensive.
No, it's expensive. I mean, listen, this is why we have to like stand strong and make sure that our performers are paid properly. But again, the color, the stories, I can only imagine from managing an apartment building in Hollywood on Sunset Boulevard. Insane. And then the school. You haven't been on the show before, and it's fine. I'm sure you haven't really listened to me on the internet, but people know teachers saved my life. And so the fact that when I read that I learned about you teaching through us being Facebook friends, and you had this really beautiful your posts are very lovely, by the way. I really enjoy them. Facebook is demonic and a cesspool of hell, but you are a beacon of light. So thank you.
Oh, thank you.
And you're welcome. But I just love teachers. So, I mean, especially my theater teacher, they like literally, they shaped me as a human, and I love teachers. And I always have this like weird idea that maybe when I'm older, I'll be a teacher, but I don't know what I would teach. Anyway, love teachers. Go ahead. Continue. So you sent the clip. You went to Olive and Thyme, got the tarragon chicken salad, which is such an industry flex, right in Burbank. Toluca Lake. And then what happened? Then
I went back to my day job. So, Gina was like, hey, I was going back to my day job. She's like, hey, can you come do 5 minutes in front of me? I'm doing stand-up. And come do 5 minutes, and everybody from Hearts Abishola is going to be there. So I just have a feeling if you do 5 minutes in front of me, there's no way that they're going to like not think of you.
5 minutes? That's very short.
It's very short.
Like 10
very
to get
short.
The joke out?
Get in, get out. Right.
Oh,
so
boy.
I went up there, boom, boom, boom. They laughed. And then afterwards they were like, hey, come back while we're filming the pilot. We want you to come while we're filming that. You can just hang out, this, that, and the other. She really set me up, And so then that was over. I was on my school spring break. So I was like, I didn't have to miss any days. Like, this is perfect. I went back to teaching my kids. I was teaching a musical theater class for 7-year-olds. My phone is ringing. I'm not answering it. They're like, looking at my phone. And I'm like, don't touch my things, please. Keep your eyes on me. And then afterwards I look and they're like, can you send us your reps information? We want to offer you a job as a staff writer for, the show. And I was like, oh, I don't have reps. So
my God, I love you so much. How is that even possible? I do know why it's possible, and I don't have any reps because reps for the most part don't do shit, but you have a Wikipedia page. So I guess you don't really need a rep, but okay.
I had a college booking agent named Sophie who used to book me at colleges in New England. So I call her, I'm like, hey, can you? And she's like, no, I don't know how to do that. No, I book you at Rogers College. I don't do this, So I'm asking around, and of course I talk to Paige, and she gives me like Shonda Rhimes' attorney. I was like, what am I doing?
I love Paige.
This kind of person is not going to answer my phone calls. I need an attorney who's going to talk to me, So I talked to my girlfriend, and she's like, I know this guy named Will. So I talked to Will, he's an attorney, and signed up with him and everything. And I was like, can you see what they're talking about? I don't even understand what they're saying. And he calls me back. He's like, this is a big deal. You've just been I don't know what to tell you, but this is a big job and a big deal. And you're going to work for Chuck Lorre and Warner Brothers. And
damn,
that's what happened. And then it was just I had 2 weeks where it was kind of overlapping, where I'd go and I'd teach my classes in the morning. And then I would just go to the room. And then that lasted for 2 weeks. And then it was the end of the school year. And I'd been at that job for 9 years. I'd watch these kids grow up. So it was a little traumatic leaving. But, yeah.
They were you just got the dream. I mean, that's kind of amazing because wow. Were you just like, what even? I mean, because that's the dream, right? Like to get a network show, Chuck Glory, like that's a huge deal. I mean, I'm smiling for it because it's just like, yes. Yeah. What was your first writer's room like? Like, were you like, did you lay out your clothes the night before? Like, I'm just like, what? How did you feel?
Somebody who's so ill-informed. I went into this so ill-informed. I didn't know what was going on. Like when they said like we'd have hiatus for a week, I thought that meant us too. Like I like booked a trip to North Carolina. They're like, that's for the actors. You're still here writing. And I was like, wait, what? I saw hiatus on the schedule. I thought that meant that I had a break. They're like, no, boo, that's not how this works. The first season was really just like trusting myself and being able to be like, I mostly was just like, be helpful, don't get fired. Be helpful, don't get fired.
Yeah,
like that was like my mantra, right? Be helpful, don't get fired. I would like, here I go. I would like talk to my spirit guides on my way in because I was just felt like so out of sorts, and I just felt like I don't know how this all works. And it's not the kind of thing where people are telling you, hey, by the way, do this, or you might want to do this. It's like you're learning as you go. No one's holding your hand. No one's telling you what's what. It's just like, you just got to like read the room, like a stand-up, like read the room, figure out what's going on.
But like I said earlier, I really do think stand-up prepares you for all types of shit because let me tell you, I was on some phone calls this morning that I didn't really want to be on with some lovely clients of mine, but I still didn't want to be on that call. And I was like, oh, word. I mean, I can't imagine what it would be like getting on a call with me, depending on my emotional state. I mean, really, now that I'm saying this out loud, like, bless their hearts they're just like, what the fuck is she talking about? I mean, I don't know. I'm really into this like sad and ragey era in my life, which is very complicated and I never know what's going to happen. So that coupled with like not eating and just like, perpetual stress. Yeah, it's you never know. What do you have a favorite episode of the show?
I do have a favorite episode, and we do a lot of like group writing in that world, where we're all like writing different scenes. And I really wanted the wedding vows. Like I really wanted that. I was like, if I don't do anything else, I want to write this scene, but you can't ask. You can't be like, can you give me that scene? Like,
you can't? Why not?
No, you can't ask. No.
Who tells you what you get?
Your showrunner tells you. No, your showrunner. Showrunner. He was like, they'll tell you, here, do this, go home and write this, right? And I was like, God, I just want these fucking wedding vows so bad. I know that that's me. Like, I know like,
I've been engaged 3 times. I am prepared. Yes. You're like, let me get married 1 time. Yes.
And I got that. And they gave me that scene, which is all I ever really wanted. And it's so beautiful because we shot it like it was in Nigeria. And it's like this very sweet, quiet moment between Bob and Abishola, where because they don't do traditional vows in the wedding, so they're having like their own kind of like sweet vows to each other. So I got to write that scene and it went in basically untouched. And that was the most satisfying. It's so beautiful and lovely and just
I love that. Yeah. That's really amazing. I was so panicked. We didn't really write personal vows because I was like, there's no way I'm going to be able to handle doing this. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so we had our friend marry us and we kind of like wrote them with him, but added things. It was such a blur. I don't know. I was just trying to make sure my mom didn't fall into the goddamn bay and die. And I was just like, this is a lot. But wow, that's really, and how interesting to imagine being someone else. That's what I really love about the writing process, is just imagining, just being so creative and being able to work out different things that maybe you haven't done in your life or that you have done in your life in a different scenario. How therapeutic.
It was so, it's so sad. It's still like I had a friend that was like sick or whatever. He was in the hospital and I told him, I was like, you got to watch this episode, and then he called me. He's like, did you write those vows? And I was like, yeah. He was like, it feels like you. It just feels like soft and just what you would want them to say. Yeah.
I love that. That's wonderful. I didn't expect you to say that, but I'm so happy that you did.
Yeah.
I know. Oh, love is so lovely, but so complicated.
So
you know?
complicated. Yeah.
So complicated. Have you ever gotten in trouble from a partner or a girlfriend or a family member for a joke?
Yeah.
What happened?
So my ex is the other woman that I'd been engaged to is, Karine Jean-Pierre, the press secretary.
Yeah.
That was my ex.
Wait, what? Really?
Yeah, we were engaged. Yeah.
And you kept this one. You kept that ring.
No, that's the ring I went back to engage back at Tiffany's.
I love it when I get lesbian tea.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what this show should have been called, the Lesbian Tea Show. But unfortunately, with my last show, I found out if, you put anything gay in the title, good old the internet just shadow bans you to hell. Yeah. So that was the end of that. Wow. Okay. So continue. So you dated wow.
Yeah. So I had this joke that was about, and believe me, I love Barack Obama, but at the time I was like very Hillary oriented,
I just have to pause. Really, I'm really trying to wrap my mind that you were engaged to her. I don't know if because in some way I love that but I don't know her, obviously. Wow. I didn't see that coming. Sorry. Because she's so important. Visible, you know what I mean? A really important person, and it should be an important person in all of our lives. When was that? That was, let's see, I moved to LA. Oh, it was the election. So it was probably 2007. We were together for 4 or 5 years. So, damn. Yeah. Wow.
So
what a
was
vibe.
Yeah. So,
okay. So it was Obama. Oh, and you were pro Hillary at the time. Got it.
So I'd had this joke where I was saying something like, talking about how hope and change is ridiculous or something I want to know what someone's going to be. I like Hillary because I know what I'm getting. It was some joke about, how I was pro Hillary and I didn't buy into the whole Barack Obama hope change thing, and it was, I never went over my sets with her or said, and this is she was working for the campaign at this time. So I told this joke and, people laughed and this, that, and the other. And she was so irritated with me. She was like, how could you say that? And I was like, it's just a joke. It's a joke. I'm just telling jokes. That's what I do. And she was like, I work for him. And it was just became a whole thing. And I was like, it's just a joke. It wasn't just a joke at the time, but it's how I really felt. But eventually, she was like, can you not make those kinds of jokes? It became a whole thing. So much so that I took that joke out of rotation. I can't even remember what it is now, but I know that that was something that she didn't want me to do.
Did you ever meet the Obamas?
So I did. So I met Barack.
Did you meet Michelle?
I didn't, but I always heard that she smelled amazing.
Here's the thing. Yeah, like Rihanna.
That's exactly. I remember Karine coming home one day and being like, that lady smells so good.
Here's the thing about Michelle. I almost don't want to meet her because I cry every time. She could be talking about what she bought at the grocery store. I could cry right now thinking about Michelle Obama. I love her so deeply in my bones.
I understand.
That I don't look, I'm tearing up. I know it sounds crazy. I don't know why. I don't know why she makes me cry this way, but I don't think I would I would look like a swollen, blind, sad turtle. Swollen. I would be swollen from crying. But what was Obak like? Did he have such a vibe? Must have.
So, it was one of those situations where I think, because I was getting ready to do an Olivia cruise and Karine was going to go with me as my guest. And she was finishing up her time there at the White House. At the time, she was the Northern political director or something like that. So I was there in DC and I'd gone shopping to buy appropriate clothes to go to the White House. You know what I mean? So I bought this little DKNY suit that had a jacket and a skirt I had on pantyhose. You know what I'm saying? And heels. I got dressed up and put my, the whole thing. So she's taking me in to meet Brock, and Reggie's there, who was his body guy, and the guy Pete was taking pictures or whatever. And so he's like, I hear you guys are going on a cruise, da da da. And
Obama said this to Mr. Barack Obama, President Barack Obama said, "You're going on an Olivia cruise." You guys are going on a cruise. It's like, yeah. He was like, Corinne says that you're a comic. You don't look like a comic. You look like a realtor. Because I'm dead. Yeah. I'm dying. Right. Oh my God. Yeah. You must have had like a little pump. I did. I did look like a realtor. But I was like, well, you have to excuse me, sir. I'm not going to wear a graphic tee to the White House. Oh, honey. But he definitely had just charm and charisma, and was very funny, and just the whole, it was we took pictures and all of that stuff. And then a couple years later, when it came time for marriage equality, and the White House had put out this video of how Brock had come to this idea that he was no longer, that he was going to be for marriage equality. And I go through the video, and sure enough, there, me and Karina are standing beside Barack Obama. No. I was like, oh my God. Did you sign a release? Because I would be like, where's the release that I signed? I'm sure I signed away everything. Oh yeah, just to walk into the White House. Yeah. Wait, that is amazing. Yeah. Honestly. Oh, wow. What a great, thank you for that. Thank you. I mean, I would die. I would die meeting Barack Obama. I recently joined LPAC, which is, yes. Yeah. And I went to Chicago, and I was hanging out with these fucking legends. And I'm like, why did you ask me to be on this board? I am a chucklehead, but okay, cool. And the way these lesbians who have worked in politics for their whole careers were casually oh yeah, when we went to the White House last week and saw Joe. Oh yeah, boopity boop boop bop. And I was like, whoa, T-O. Y'all just be getting invitation to the White House. They're like, yeah, all the time. We went to the Pride thing. Now we're gonna go. What about am I gonna see you at Christmas tree lighting? I was like, yo, please invite me to the tree lighting. So that's my new, I've done a lot of weird things that as a outgoing, precocious kid I've gotten to do. I convinced people in Italy that I was one of Wu-Tang's managers and was backstage of a Wu-Tang concert. That's on brand. It's so on brand. Yeah. I have, I sang on stage with Mac Mall, opened for Bonnie Raitt, been to the Oscars, been to the Emmys. I'm trying to think. Grammys, Billboard. I've done all these cool things that as a kid I was like, fuck yeah. But the White House, that's some the only thing, I've never been technically booked. I've been arrested, but I've never been booked. So I don't know what happens with that. I think I'd be okay, but I've never I've never gotten in trouble overseas or anything. I don't know what the background check is, Yeah. Well, I think it's fine. I remember when she was taking that job, the FBI came to our apartment and interviewed me in Brooklyn. And I'm sure your neighbors loved that. It's just this woman, this kind of short woman with the tight gray suit or whatever came up and may I ask who you are? And I was like, I'm sorry, what's happening here? We're with the FBI. We're interviewing you, because of Corinne Jean-Pierre. And I was like, okay. And they're like, who are you to her? And I was like, I'm her girlfriend. And they're like, do other people know that? Is this something that they could bribe her with down? This was, years ago. Oh, and I was God. I don't know. It's not a secret. We shared this one bedroom apartment together. I don't know what to tell you. It's been crazy. But I got my mom to go to the White House. Her and her friends got all dressed up, and we were able to go and see the Christmas trees and do all of those fun things. See, listen, it might not have worked out, but she served a purpose. She served a purpose. Would you ever date a celebrity again? Yeah, man, I don't know about that. Yeah, I don't think so. I talk about it frequently. Celebrities are monsters. Don't meet your heroes. Actually, though, I did meet Mary J. Blige and it went very well, but I only had 60 seconds. Could you imagine finally meet, who's one person that you would love to meet that you haven't met?
I don't know if I want to meet them. I mean, like, I'm obsessed with Diana Ross. That's my person, right?
Oh, I have the best Diana Ross story. So when I first moved to LA, whatever, I was acting, doing the thing, trying, whatever. I was bartending, or really bar backing at this time. And then I ended up bartending at this place on Sunset called the Evely. Do you remember that restaurant? It was like indoor, outdoor, whatever. It was some bougie shit. They have cockroaches. Don't eat there. And Tracy Ellis Ross would come in early, and we had like a back garden area, and I would always be setting up the back. And this is before Blackish. This is like 12 years. This is a long time ago. And Tracy would always come in. She would order a margarita drink that we had, and she would sit, and I presume write or work or whatever. She would always bring her computer, whatever. Super chill. And she's stunning. Like, she'd always be like, Liz, how was your day? I'm like, it was cool, like whatever, you know? And I mean, I knew who she was, but not really, because she wasn't, I don't know. Well, that's not true, because I was a girlfriend. Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, minus the whole Kelsey Grammer of it all. But I was like a girlfriend's fan, but I was poor, so I didn't have like a television. This is hard for me. I've missed a lot of cultural things because I didn't have any money, and I had so many jobs, and I didn't have TV for like a good 10 years. So Girlfriends was something that I had seen that I liked, but like I wasn't, I learned about it later. So anyway, but Diana Ross, my 5th birthday was Supremes themed. My little blonde, green-eyed, hand to God, like call my mom, who isn't really speaking to me, but call my mom and ask. Supremes themed. I then had an entire Sister Act 1, 2, and 3 themed birthday parties. So I dressed as Dolores. Like, you have to understand. Diana Ross for me was just Madonna, Diana Ross. Fucking, I am downstairs, and I walk up one Friday or Thursday or whatever it was afternoon, and it's Tracy sitting with Miss Diana Ross.
Oh my God.
And I just like out of body, and I was holding a tray of glasses, and I'm like, oh fuck. And I kind of like turn like this, because I'm like, oh no, I'm literally covered in like junk because I've been setting up a bar, like whatever. So I like run to the back, I go to the bathroom, and I call my mom. Like, Mom, Diana Ross is in this restaurant. And she was like, what? Oh my God, that life you're living in LA. Like, meanwhile, I'm like poor, eating the food off of people's plates that they don't finish, like awful vibes, right? I'm like, too bad OnlyFans didn't exist, because I was thin and had, you know what I mean? I could have really made some coin. So I like get my shit together, and I was wearing my mom's necklace actually. And I like come back out, and Tracy's like, oh, Liz, like, can we order some drink? I'm like, but she was calling me my name. Okay. Yeah. And I like walk over. Oh my God. I know. Are you dying? I walk over, and I'm like, hi. And it's beautiful, perfect Diana Ross. Wow. In like a turquoise sweater off the shoulder. Oh my God. She goes, I love your necklace. And I'm like, oh my God, it's my mom's. I stole it from my mom. Why I said that is insane. And she like goes to Tracy. She goes, we steal from each other all the time. Ha 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 ha. And then she ordered a glass of white wine. I think you should meet Diana Ross if it comes up. I think it would go well. I think it would go well. Yeah. Listen, I had 60 seconds with Mary J. Blige. It was this weird thing.
Keep it short, right?
I kept it short. I made her laugh immediately.
That's all I want. That's all I want to do. That's
and
just
then,
like
and then the phone call cut off.
Yep.
Anyway, that's it. Any advice to anyone who wants to come to LA to do comedy?
Start where you are.
Oh. So don't come to LA.
I mean, come to LA, but start where you are. You know what I mean? Like, you can always, I'm really into like just like learning about something. Like, I started stand up in New York, and I'm so grateful that I did, because there were like so many opportunities to get up every night. Like, you can go in with a joke and down at the duplex at like 7, and then work on it a little while. And then at 9 o'clock, you can try to hit it again. And then like 10 o'clock, 10:30, you can try to hit it again. Like, just try to work on the craft. That's what I would say. Like, before you come, work as much as you can on the craft. And
when is it acceptable to call yourself a comedian?
You know, I didn't call myself a comic for a really long time. And it was Gina. One day we were going to the Improv, and I was like standing in line to like pay to get in. She was like, what are you doing? And I was like, I'm going to go in and watch the show. She was like, you're a comic. Just come in. And I was like, I can just come in. She's like, you're a comic. Say it. I'm a comic. And I was like, I'm a comic. She's like, then let's go. And we just went in. She just told me to just like walk in and not. She's like, you don't have to pay for this. You're a comic. Just stand back here and be a comic. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, I'm a comic. You know what I mean? That was probably like maybe 4 years in.
Yeah. I think here's my unsolicited advice to anybody listening. Do not call yourself a comic unless Gina or Gloria or somebody else calls you one first. Because let me tell you, when there is a comic and they ask you, do you do comedy? Say no. I'm like, I have trauma. I'm sad, but no, because let me tell you, to say that you are a comic, you got to really be in it.
Yeah.
But I think some people be on these TikToks and they're like, yeah, I do comedy. I'm like, no, you don't, honey.
You might tell a joke.
You might tell a joke. Gloria, I love you. Thank you for doing this.
Absolutely. A pleasure.
Did I did not disappoint. I told you were going to get some tea. Did I think it was going to be political tea? No, I did not. But there we have it, folks. Also, that Diana Ross story, do you die? And I still kind of stand by don't meet your heroes. I think that went well. I think Mary J. Blige went well. Sometimes it doesn't go well. Make sure you guys follow Gloria. She's hilarious. We'll put her information in the show notes. Yeah, I think the one thing I loved about this episode too is like, never stop. Like, you never know what's going to happen. You know, I think I sometimes am like, what am I doing this all for? I was turned down this week by a network for this podcast, which is fine. I'm not really trying to actively shop it, but it fell into my lap. And I was like, okay, let me have the conversation. And they were very kind, but they said, you know, you're not big enough and your numbers aren't big enough. And like, your social's not big enough. And like, yeah, you're great. Blah, blah, blah. And, you know, I get a little upset. It rolled off my back a little bit. But then I talked to somebody like Gloria today where I'm like, you are a fucking G. Like, you're writing on a network show. You've done stand-up all over the world. Hell, you've done them on lesbian cruises. You're like chilling with the Obamas. Like, who am I to be hard on myself? But like, look at what you're doing. And like, but it didn't stop. It's not like Gloria plateaued. She's just getting like more and more in her groove and like more and more owning her craft. And like, I'm like, okay, fuck yeah. Be like Gloria. That's actually what I'm coming out of this episode. Be like Gloria.